Is that going to do anything?
I mean, but they do have it.
Yeah, they do have it, but the thing
They do have teachers that can teach it.
Right, but the thing is,
you do have people who want to learn it. I for one want to learn it. I want it in the language that we speaking of the people who enslaved my great-great-grandmother and grandfather. We speaking their native language.
Exactly.
I don't want it in that because I know that this language is not that old.
Right, but
you know,
I understand that. But
for example, we gotta teach our people, right? Right. And our people don't know nothing.
I know we have to learn it in the language. I read the Bible many times through, not like others. I've read it many times through in the language, native language that we speak, but I said, well, you know what? I studied this language, it's not that old. Whatever it was originally in, it has more potency than what we speak.
I agree. You agree.
You know, so I want to know it in that because I know.
And that's the best way to learn it. But when you teaching your people, you gotta teach them what they can understand. We can get into that later, like if they want to sincerely learn the Hebrew, get into all that, even parts of the Greek and all that, we can do that. But if we out here just speaking Hebrew, we're not edifying nobody. The scriptures tell you when you teach it, you got to edify. It ain't making no sense to them. So, and the scriptures tell you that's what's gonna happen. And
what about the ones who are past that? You know, what I'm saying is, I understand what you're saying. That you have to, the people out here, okay, teach it to them in the language that they understand now, that they're speaking now. But what about when they get past that stage? These people who are past that stage, like, man, you know, hey, I'm graduating from this. I need to know when it originally came.
Well, give me 2 Timothy 2:15. And that's a very valid point. And you should continue to go forward in that. You know what I'm saying? So with the scriptures right here, we sitting up here talking modern, which was considered modern day English. All right. Now, the Bible was translated from Greek and from even earlier ancient Hebrew. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, you have to first learn Hebrew, learn Greek, or whatever.
Because a lot of the corrupted ways that the society that we living in today, it comes from a misunderstanding of language and what the Europeans have gave us and said, "Hope this is what it means. You can't interpret it for yourself. You can't. No, this is what it means. That's what's wrong. Language, words make people, and they have given us something." And said, this is the way you interpret it, and it has made a lot of us the way we are now. Because we don't question, we just roll over. Okay.
That's the thing right there. Don't question or anything, even with what we're telling you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can base it off your spirit right now that you're not gonna just take what we say for face value. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to do that anyway because it's not gonna make you a better man or a better person. You know what I'm saying? Or a better soldier. Okay, but at the same time, they do spew out all this information, expect us or tell us to do it, and a lot of us do it. But to get back to you, I guess your specific point or your specific issue, what we read out of is the King James Bible. Many different translations. People always tell us there's many different translations. The reason we specifically use the King James Bible, all right, is because first off, King James was an Israelite. Okay. The second off, when you translate, we also have the ancient. Have the ancient Hebrew, whatever. But when you translate, even though stuff will get lost in translation, this is the most accurate translation that we have. You know, which is why we do read out of it and we do promote it.
So did Hebrews translate that?
Hebrew scholars, right?
Hebrew scholars,
And that's another misconception. People say King James is translated.
Yeah, from my understanding, Europeans translated that.
You can break it down.
Well, it depends on what you mean by Europeans too. Like, do you mean Europeans as in Caucasian? Edomites, or do you mean European?
Well, I don't know. It might have been European. They might have been mixed. I mean, they might have been.
Because during that time, black people ruled Europe.
We ruled Europe for 1,000 years.
They was in power when this got translated into English. King James was a black.
Because see, from what I read, that didn't get translated. Because at first you couldn't translate it. From what I read, they would kill you if you tried to translate it from when in the time of Rome, when they took power. Yeah, when they took power and they made a law, and then if anybody outside of their high authority tried to translate it, you would get killed. But later on, when I guess followers, from what I read, followers of King James, they wouldn't wrote it, they wouldn't translate it, and put it into the language that we were reading.
So what he did was, he was the king, right? So he gave them orders. He commissioned Hebrew and Greek scholars to translate into English for the people that grew up learning English, so they can understand, so they can read it, they know it. That's all that happened. A black man who was the king said, these people need to read this, they need to know this. So he got some Hebrew and Greek scholars together, and they just translated it to English. That's it.
And even with this one, we're not saying this is 100% accurate, but we're saying, I guess you're taking the, what they say, the lesser of two evils, or the lesser of whatever evils. It's not going to be perfect, whatever. But at the same time, I understand that you do want to learn the Hebrew. So that's where it starts.
Lessons, you know what I mean? It'd be lessons.
We have elders that they teach us lessons, so you can learn the Hebrew tongue, the original tongue that the Bible translates.
Put it together for you.
Phonetically, write it out and all that. But give me that scripture right quick.
This is 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. It says, study to show thyself approved unto God. A workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightfully dividing the word of truth.
Second part, I mean, it applies to us, but the main part of the scripture I brought out was, you got to study to show yourself approved, or whatever. So, like, you want to learn math, you want to study math, and you become a mathematician. You want to learn the original language that this is written in. You're going to study Greek, or you're going to study ancient Hebrew.
Semitic language.
You're going to learn it, you know what I'm saying? So that's where it started. I'm still learning. I'm still learning Hebrew. I'm still trying to learn. I ain't even started learning Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still learning.
Because from what I understand, Semitic languages, it have more potency. It's more of a soul language than this language that we speak it, that when we read that, because you could take one word in Hebrew, or say for instance Arabic, and it might have like 20 meanings, and it's a language of roots from what I study. It's a language of roots, and so when we get that, we might get more of a surface meaning in there when we read that.
Just like John 3:16, that confuses a lot of people.
Yeah.
They say, for God so loved the world. Actually, let's read it. And then we're going to get the chorus, we're going to show you what it means, what it is in Hebrew.
We all know the scripture.
You're going to break John 3:16 down live on the spot.
All right. The scripture is St. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So we all know what that scripture means. So when we break it down, all right, we know we can go past that. Then the word God. The word God is in it. Now that's a translated term as well, because look up the definition of the word God, it means power. But that's just a title. You know what I'm saying? But you have a name, the name not important, but let's just say my name is Kevin. If you walk around calling me Johnny, I'm not gonna really respond to you. So that's another part in the translation right there. That's just like, or you walk around saying man.
I got a dictionary right here. I can look it up, but I'm gonna tell you what it say already. When you look up God, an object of worship. It say an object. It's not talking about the Most High Creator of everything. That tree right there could be God. Exactly. Be my God. It's pole, a woman's butt. Anything that you put your attention to, that's your God. That object in creation. So. You're right. In the Bible, if you understand the root of that word, now I went back and studied God and his attributed to human from when I went back to what that word. The word is actually German, ancient German, and it was attributed to humans. If you go back far and you study
specific word God. Right. Yeah. Now, in terms of translation, the word God. We're talking about this guy, and we're talking about the original. The original language from the beginning is ancient Hebrew. Exactly. So that name, this name right here is English, which is a master language anyway. A combination of different.
Exactly.
The term God is English, but when you translate to ancient Hebrew,